Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You can always check out your Moon and Rising Sun readings in addition to your Sun Sign reading for extra clarity for the week, or in case your Sun Sign reading isn't resonating with you for whatever reason. This is for the week of September 26th to October 3rd. I'm using the medicine cards for your main spread today, and then as always drawing additional message cards from the Healing with the Angels Oracle and the Wisdom of the Oracle. This is a general reading for your sign, so whatever is most prominent in your life, I encourage you to take these messages and apply them to, and hopefully find them helpful and healing. So what does Libra need to know? All right, Libra, let's get a little snapshot of all these cards together and then we'll look at them one by one. So the first thing I'm noticing here is that you could feel like you're a little bit intimidated, or that you feel like there is some type of intimidation play here. You want to be careful of that. Obviously, you don't want to go around intimidating others, but you also want to have a strong sense of self or a strong core so that you're not easily intimidated. And that there is an opportunity for understanding through innocence. Okay, we're looking at understanding and relating with others, or relating with a part of yourself that you've been rejecting or avoiding for whatever reason. So again, this could be about a relationship or a theme in a relationship with at least one other person, or it could be something that you're experiencing with yourself, okay? So an inner conflict, if you will. And either way, like I said, there is this sense of, are you strong enough? Can you do this? Are you coming on too strong, or someone else coming on too strong in terms of, communicating with you, in terms of being understood? And a sense of vulnerability is leading you to a sense of fear here, but it doesn't need to. You can really shift this if you are to take stock of really what you're up against here. I think that something might feel overwhelming this week that maybe ultimately isn't. And if you're able to look at things as they are and maybe not as they were, then you will feel a little bit more settled and have a lot more self-confidence in getting through this process, or getting through this conversation or theme this week, especially if this is an internal conflict. Like I said, you are going to be able to pull through this. It's just really important to remember that there's really no need for fear, especially if something is changing or feels like it's changing too quickly for whatever reason. You want to remember not to cling to anything, and really keep an open mind. Maybe the future, maybe what you have right now, or what you're thinking, or what you're doing right now, if that's going to the wayside, or if there are changes to that, maybe it's positive in the long run. So remember that clinging to anything won't be your best friend this week. You're going to want to keep an open mind. Try not to be intimidated by changes or other people. Don't let them intimidate you, and certainly don't project intimidation onto yourself or anyone else, because that only stems from fear, okay? So you're going to want to work on a really strong core sense of self this week. So Libra, in your central position, we have Rabbit. This represents you this week. This is where I'm reading some fear for you currently, but as I always read Rabbit, there is an opportunity for courage here, okay? So anytime that we face fear in life, the opportunity for courage arises. In fact, courage wouldn't exist without fear. So this is probably a very potent opportunity for you this week to take charge of something. If these are, negative dialogues that you're having within yourself, for example, maybe it's time to put your foot down on that and say, I don't like living with those attitudes or those voices or those concepts. And I'm not afraid to make these changes. I'm going to stand up for myself. Really treat yourself like your own best friend this week. Another really nice way to do that is to contemplate how you would treat a best friend. And if it's any different than the way that you're treating yourself this week, then really make a vow to yourself that you are going to treat yourself like a best friend. And that way, not only do you have yourself to rely on as really solidly, but now you have the tools to actually be a best friend to someone else and to encourage them to treat you the way that you want to be treated, which is, someone who really, really likes you. But like I said here, the only drawback around the fear card is that you could be intimidated by the courage itself. And I'm suggesting here that there's no need to. You'll be freed nearly immediately by taking courage, regardless of the outcome, frankly. It's the courage here in the face of fear that's going to become something that you can draw upon in the future, especially if you understand what that courage looks like and felt like and how you had to act in that moment of courage. You can use that to your advantage in the future. You just want to be sure that you're not misusing it, and you want to be sure that that courage doesn't become, like I said, this sense of intimidation. There's really no need to do that this week, and there's no need to accept it this week. So in the influence to your current position is Owl. This is the card of deception. It's a little bit of a misnomer, but at the same time, not so much. You could be meeting with someone or be presented with someone, or like I said, if this is an internal conflict, this could be your fight. This could be this sense of, this is where intimidation lies. Someone's either going to try it with you or you're going to try it to someone else, but it's always fear, right? By the time any human being has to intimidate somebody else, that's fear. And it's a really low vibration, and it's kind of pathetic, right? It's a bully. It's what a bully does. So that person is already pretty small. So don't get dragged down with that, or don't get dragged down by that. Another, or rather a beautiful part of the Owl card is that there is a change of consciousness that is available to you this week. And of course, a nice term for change of consciousness is magic. So magic could be afloat this week, and it could be available to you. It's also the card of witches, sorcerers, and warlocks. So we're remembering here that magic or a change of consciousness can be misused. I think your point of courage this week is to maintain balance in the face of this enormous energy and to not misuse it. So you want to raise your vibration, you want to let go of fear or whatever you think fear and doubt and all the nonsense that comes with that brings you. It's time to reject that. It's time to say, I choose courage in the face of fear. I choose wellness in the face of the unknown, or in the face of not knowing what's next. I choose excitement and joy over, intimidation and emotional upset. So really, it's a really good week for you to take something that felt like or feels like or acts like a low vibration, and so that's fear, negativity, low self-opinion, low opinion of others, criticism in any form, etc. So we want to take that and transform that. So you're going to reject with love those lower vibrational energies and really change consciousness for yourself. Courage is the way to go this week. Have the courage to not only want something better for yourself, but to just accept it. Accept it. Hawk is in your probable outcome. This is messenger. This is where I'm seeing that by this process, if you were to follow the highest vibration here this week, so really create magic with this new understanding of what needs to be done to raise your vibration, and the rejection of fear here to really show that courage. And it's going to make an impact not only in anyone who's watching or listening right now, but ultimately you. You could be the person who's able to tell someone else how to get themselves out of a trap, okay? Bad self-opinion, low self-opinion, negative thinking, spiral thinking, other really simple basic terms around this type of negative energy, of course, is depression and anxiety. Okay, those are two really just super simple themes that you could be rejecting this week. It's a really good week to do it. And you could act as messenger either immediately or eventually. And ultimately, if you are able to treat yourself like that best friend and get in the habit of it, it's going to take time because we've all been trained, we've all been educated and brainwashed to hate ourselves, right? You're not unique, Libra. Every single one of us has been trained to hate ourselves. We've all been lied to, but this is your opportunity this week to really raise that vibration. You're not going to deal with it. You're not going to take it. You reject it with love, and you're going to make room for something very, very positive in your life. And someone's going to see this. It's going to be very obvious, and they could even come to ask you how you did it. Or you're going to be so excited by the outcome yourself, you're just going to offer it. You're going to say, oh my gosh, you know what? I've been working on this. Even if you do it skeptically, I would even encourage you to do this skeptically. Not, oh yeah, it'll never work. That's cynical, right? You don't want to be cynical, but yeah, do it a little skeptically. I wonder if this will work. And then try it and see if it happens. And it will work. It will work. Rejecting something with love and making room for courage and love and high vibration will work. You only need to make the decision to do it and choose courage over fear. Because fear is a lie. Here's where I see you doing it, and you doing it with a real sense of understanding what you really are, who you really are. And it could be having to look through the past. It could be that you are flipping through photo albums of you when you're a little kid. It might be probably, now that I'm thinking of it here, because I'm applying this general energy to all of these cards, might be the fastest way for you to get to this place this week, Libra, to be honest with you, is to flip through some photo albums of your childhood. You know, you're going to be able to find something here that you can heal. Something needs to be healed. And the way to do that is to be vulnerable, to remember that vulnerability. Remember that vulnerable place in yourself, or what it feels like to be vulnerable. See, Porcupine's word is innocence, right? Innocence is vulnerability. But another cool thing about innocence is that it's actually strength. Like in actual reality, vibrationally speaking, and after all these lies and the miseducation that we've all been given, we've all been lied to about ourselves, and we've been taught to hate ourselves, this is the opposite of that. This is the rejection of that. This is saying we are all innocent, perfect children. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing. You're perfect. And everything you've ever done is because it was the best you could do at the time. But now you know that something greater awaits. Now you know there's a different power. It's not intimidation. That's low vibration. That's low energy. It's not fear. That's a lie. It's love. It's innocence. It's vulnerability. You know why I know this is the ultimate power is because it's everything that's been brainwashed out of us. Consider it. Everything that's been brainwashed out of humanity is truth, and it's real power. Like love is simply the only power in the world. And if you ever meet with fear, it's a lack of love. It's not actually fear. It's simply a lack of love. You inject love into that situation, fear is gone. Okay? Same with intimidation. That's fear. You inject love into that situation, now you can relate to somebody. Now you can understand somebody. Okay? But it will take some soul searching came out of my mouth before I even thought about it. So soul searching here, I really do mean that, you know, a trip down memory lane, even if you don't have a photo album of yourself as a child, talk to a relative that you grew up with. A trip down memory lane might undo some of this, might unscrew some of this uncertainty for you. Serenity is really going to be your best friend, or at least a place where you can learn to become your best friend this week. It's just a beautiful attitude to take as well. It's a beautiful thing to do for yourself, to inject serenity into anything that feels overwhelming or scary to you. It's also really closely related here with innocence and vulnerability, this sense of serenity. And it's also the opposite of this, you know, this intimidation, this sense of you have to be tough or bold or aggressive somehow to get your point across, or to feel important, or to feel strong for whatever reason. And maybe it's something that's worked for you in the past. Again, this is no judgment. We're all doing the best we can with what we have, but this is because this is a shift in consciousness here. I see that you see that this is necessary. So the cards are just saying that serenity is really one nice, simple pathway to get there. Just, you don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to figure everything out right now. You just have to figure out how to love right now and accept other people. And be vulnerable with yourself. I mean, only you know if it's safe to be vulnerable around other people, but you have to learn how to do that with yourself first anyway. So start there. Start being innocent with yourself. Remember what that feels like, what kind of joy that brings, how freeing that is. Wow, regeneration, look at you. Okay, Libra, so regeneration is really you coming out of something. You're coming on the other side of something. This is a tree growing out of lava rock. It's next to impossible, but it's also a miracle, right? And it's phenomenal. Like this could be something that amounts to a phenomenon for you as well. So a sense of regeneration, a sense of coming out on the other side of something. I really do see it looking or acting like or feeling like courage here. But ultimately, courage is in league with love. So choose love this week. Start with yourself. Remember what it feels like to have innocence lead the way, to be vulnerable and serene. And you could find that these messages are available to you through music. Also through the written word, people that you look up to already. It could be something that you've written ages ago and you're finding in your own writings or in your own creativity, and you're like, oh my God, you can even be inspired by yourself this week. So that's a lot to contend with this week. I don't see anything overarchingly negative or anything like that this week. Just a big learning curve for you. And a great deal of excitement if you allow it. So if you have a second, let me know how this works out for you. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel because I upload videos for your sign every single week. So until we meet next time, Libra, take very good care of yourself, and bye for now.